Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Legacies, episode 216, titled Facing Darkness is Kinda My Thing, which premiered Thursday, March 26, 2020 on the CW. I'm recording roughly an hour after the episode has ended, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. My other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. Quick YouTube shoutouts to Maria Lira for answering my question about why Josie did not know who the Necromancer was, or Dark Josie, I should say, and also to, Thabang Mokoena, I hope I said that right. Their question was a very good one in regards to why does Josie's magic seem like it's an infinite amount when she's a siphon. That question didn't really occur to me until I read the comment. So from their understanding and from my understanding is that when the black magic went into Josie, all her powers that Dark Josie's having should be coming from her siphoning of the black magic within her. Kind of like when a heretic, a vampire siphon witch hybrid is able to have magic infinitely is because the black magic, or not black magic, is because the vampire magic, the magic making them vampires is always a part of them, so they have always a constant source of magic, and that's why a heretic still has their powers. So I'm thinking that in order for Josie's powers to be seeming like it's an infinite amount as a siphon, either the black magic has to be like it's an always constant source within her and that just won't leave, and like her depleting it won't have it disappear. Otherwise, that would be too easy. Why not just have her expel all this dark magic that she can and then be rid of it? Kind of similar to how they had hoped in the originals in season 5 when Hope took on the Hollow, how she couldn't just use up all of the magic within the Hollow to dispel it from her body. It kept coming back and taking root in her. But the way we were meant to understand the whole black magic thing is that whatever was in the sand clock, the amount of black magic there, that should be the only amount of black magic that Josie should have. It shouldn't be growing more so that it seems like she has infinite amount. But then we have to realize how much would that, for us it looks like it's a small amount of magic based on like the size of the sand clock and how much was swirling inside of it. But we don't know relatively how much a siphon could ration that magic in a sense. The only way I can really picture it is when back in season 6 of the Vampire Diaries, when Kai siphoned the magic that was in the barrier around Mystic Falls that stopped any supernatural creature from coming in and losing their supernatural ability. When he siphoned that barrier away, he was able to have magic like a regular witch for some time. And so I'm thinking it was something like that. I'm probably got lost in my own answer, but the answer's in there somewhere. I just can't remember what actually I just said because there's so many different scenarios that we've seen happen, but we don't know how much it relates to in Josie's situation. But yeah, that's my answer. Hopefully I get more concise when I write the answer to you in the comment after I post this video, so fingers crossed. But anyways, let's just get right into the video. I'm not gonna time it today just because I'm in the middle of a pandemic. We all are at the time of this recording, so I don't need a timer telling me how long this is going to be. But if I go past 11:30, then yeah, I probably should stop. But anyways, let's move on to the basics. So episode quote, "Facing darkness is kind of my thing," was said to Hope to the pig inside of Josie's subconscious, which turned, now I'm not going to say it now, but yeah, she said to that. And who else would say that title better? No one. I think before the episode even starts, you know that it's going to be Hope. You just don't know who she's saying it to. So there's that. Timeline-wise, though, it would have to be either the day after the events of 215 or it's shortly after. So maybe like within 24 hours, maybe 36 hours since the whole merge situation. So there's that. Episode reminder, though, the fact that we get put into a fairy tale world, essentially. Also, if you kind of want to do a reminder, 216 is going to be our temporary season finale, just because it is the last fully finished episode the production had before it went to shutdown due to COVID-19. And because we don't have an actual end date in sight for this pandemic, we don't know if the remaining 4 episodes would still be continued as part of the season, or if they're going to be pushed back to be part of season 3. We don't know. So at the moment, we are treating this as a temporary finale. Also, if you remember, the season 1 ended with 16 episodes, so it's just the same amount of length. So let's go on to that. Featured creature of the episode, again, it's no one from Malivore. It's still Dark Josie and the Necromancer himself. Debatable whether Necromancer is from Malivore or not at this repeat run of his. So there's that. But the episode breakdown, if you will, or the storylines, I picked up on 3. First one being the Fairytale Mindscape, second one being the fake funeral, and the third one being Landon's Predicament. The first storyline with the Fairytale, it's us seeing Hope going into Josie's subconscious, which has taken on the form of a fairy tale world, a kingdom that was succumbed by this darkness that grew stronger the more that magic tried to fight against it. And to protect it, the Princess Josie put herself under a sleeping spell to prevent her from using magic to make the darkness keep growing. So Hope's in there trying to find the good Josie to kind of bring her out of the black magic darkness. Turns out Josie was disguising herself as the pig and not actually asleep. And she has built this dreamscape with the mindset that good is weak and evil is strong. So after realizing she needed to change the narrative, she was able to come out on top and defeat her alter ego. So there's that. Second storyline with the fake funeral is the fact that because they have the zombie eyeball watching out for them, our super squad has to put on the charade that is Lizzie's funeral. So while doing that, Lizzie takes on the form of Hope, while Hope's body is taking Lizzie's form in the casket. Yeah, in the casket. And it's just weirdly bizarre, but because Lizzie is pretty much orchestrating her own funeral and hearing all the students' thoughts about her, now that she's dead, what kind of person she was, she is not very happy and feels like she's misunderstood by her fellow classmates about it. So it just comes, a lot of revelations are happening on Lizzie's front in this storyline. Also, because we see her taking on the form of Hope, we do get a moment where we have her interacting with Alaric and seeing Hope calling Alaric dad, which I know many fan-made videos could use if they were trying to further the idea that Hope is the unofficial third daughter of Alaric, which I still believe is the case. But yeah, it was just really weird though. It's like just seeing that change. It is crazy, but fun, but still crazy in the fact that, like, yeah, I don't know. So there is that. Also, I didn't mention it in the fairy Mindscape though, but or the Fairytale Mindscape, but I did have the question in the previous video about whether or not why Dark Josie doesn't feel a change after the merge. They did bring that up in this episode, how she was saying like she needed confirmation that Lizzie was dead because she didn't feel any of Lizzie's powers that she should have gotten from the merge, which is why she was suspicious about the charade that was happening at the school, and that's why she went inside herself to figure out what's this thing that she can't access, which ended up being Hope. So I'm glad they brought that up. So there's that. And the third storyline, which is Landon's Predicament, as we know at the end of the episode, Puppet Rafael ended up stabbing Landon with the golden arrow. So that is something there. We get Rafael telling Alaric what had happened with the Necromancer's orders, how he's a puppet, and because of this, Alaric finds himself in a deal with the Necromancer, and he does this in hopes of saving Josie from the black magic and also saving Rafael and Alyssa Chang from the Necromancer's puppeteer strings. So there is that. Now, Jimmy, just give me one moment. I just remembered a question. All right. I wrote it down. We'll talk about it later. All right. Last scene of the episode showed both Alaric and Rafael kind of confused and slightly on the verge of panicking over the fact that both Landon and Hope still have not waken up after their separate conclusions. So since Josie is back to being Good Josie again, which would assume that Hope should be waking up after that, she doesn't. And then with Alaric's deal with the Necromancer that got Rafael and Alyssa released, and him getting the black magic, Landon was somehow figured into the deal, and yet Landon hasn't woken up yet. So they're a little confused as to what went wrong. So there's that. So let's move on to characters very quickly. We do get Jed and Kaleb working together. There seems to be some kind of unofficial rivalry. It's definitely not related to the fact that one's a werewolf and one's a vampire, but it seems to be possibly of them both suspecting or knowing that the other one likes Alyssa Chang. But definitely because we see them kind of competing when they're trying to sing a duet together at the funeral. But then at the very end, after Alyssa's return, they do bond over the fact that she kind of dismissed their feelings for her, or their concern for her, or something like that. I think that's what I was getting at, because they were kind of both talking over each other about it, but they seem to be on the same wavelength of like how they were like feeling like swept under the rug kind of thing. So there's that. We do have some new names that are part of the wolves. We got Piper, and we got Brock. I didn't catch what the third wolf's name was, but this was brought up when Lizzie was trying to prove that she could pass as Hope. So there's that. For the witches, we do get a few of them. We don't have names from the Flirty witch that we got in 202, or the sewing witch that we got in 204. But we do see them. I don't know if Lizzie as Hope used their names specifically. I will have to check up on that once more information is available online. But for now, Flirty Witch and Sewing Witch is what I'm going for. And then later on, at the very end of the episode, a few more witches, as well as these two, kind of seem overwhelmed over the fact that Lizzie isn't actually dead, and they welcome her with open arms. So I think MG's speech kind of had everybody rethinking things about Lizzie for sure, which I'll talk about later. So there's that. We get Wade briefly when he was trying to do a memory video for Lizzie. It was turned out to be like a roasting type of recollection for him. But it's good to see that Wade's still here. So there's that. With Josie at the very end of all this ordeal, we see her putting her magic into a coin, very similar to what her biological mother Jo and Bonnie had done over on the Vampire Diaries. So pretty much she's temporarily putting her powers away so she can't use it. So it gives herself some time to heal. I don't know how that differs, since Jo and Bonnie were both regular witches and not siphon witches. I wonder how that would be any different for Josie as a siphon witch. But we'll just have to wait and see how that healing goes. So there's that. She puts it in a piggy bank, naturally. But I'm wondering if her just holding it would defeat the purpose of what it's supposed to be doing for her. But there's that. And then also we get Rafael and Alyssa Chang both alive with heartbeats again, and not puppets to the Necromancer anymore. So there's that. We get that confirmation from Rafael when he tells Alaric about how he has confirmed that he's back with his own free will and everything. So there's that. Tidbits, let's move on to that. We find out that Caroline used to read fairy tales to the twins as bedtime stories when they were growing up. And the easy interpretations in those fairy tales of what's good and what's evil is what Josie clung to when she was very confused and stuck in the gray, I guess you could say. So there's that. We also see the Necromancer escaping with all the black magic inside of him, and Alaric called the Necromancer trouble for another day type of thing, which he's fine with if it meant that he got to save his students, which were Josie, Rafael, and Alyssa, and hopefully Landon, which he thought at that point. So there's that. Also, I think only Rafael knows what happened to Landon. I don't think any of the other students, especially those part of the super squad, I don't think they realized that Landon got stabbed with the golden arrow. I think it's only Rafael who is aware of this with Alaric. So there's that. Also, I just want to briefly bring up the Sphinx's riddle. Once again, it's up on screen, because I'm wondering if we are completely done with it now, or if it's still going to be put into play. I mean, technically, this is meant to act as our finale for now. It's obviously done. But the only thing I could think of that wasn't addressed was the last line, the greatest destroyer of all is love. That one I don't think has actually been associated with anything just yet, but all the other aspects of the riddle seem to have been covered at one point or another, and definitely recapped at some point. So I'm thinking that last part was that the greatest destroyer of all is love is supposed to be something that was meant to be possibly covered in the last remaining 4 episodes. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. But let's move on to the most shocking moment of the episode. I think it has to be the fact that Good Josie was disguising herself as the pig, and the pig got eaten by the darkness wolf. And then when Hope cut the wolf's stomach out and then a hand appeared, I wasn't expecting it to be Good Josie. I was thinking that maybe the pig would be transformed into a human version or something like that, which would kind of be like, well, what's the point? But the fact that it's Good Josie, it makes sense why it would be. So that was a surprise there that I wasn't expecting, though I should have, but I'll leave it at that. But let's move on to top 3 favorite moments. Favorite I did have was the flashbacks that Josie was getting during her revelation about how she can be good and strong. It's not necessarily her strength is equal to evil. I really like that not only did she have the comparison that Hope is strong and Hope is good, so it's more of like, well, why can't I be strong and good as well type of thing. I really liked that she made that comparison that, well, if Hope is strong and she's also good, then why can't I also be the same thing? So I really like that. And then I really liked how it was followed up with a bunch of flashbacks for Lizzie, which is archive footage for us, showing all the different times where Josie came out on top and she was powerful and she did it in the name of good, or she did it in the name of saving somebody or saving a loved one. And it wasn't just for nefarious means that she was powerful. It was because she was doing something to protect someone else. So I really liked how powerful that moment was, and how, yes, it was a little cheesy that Dark Josie wasn't attacking while Good Josie was a little preoccupied with this revelation. But I did appreciate that we got that full montage moment. So there's that. And then also I would say, to tie in with that, just her, I guess you could say, climactic battle with her evil self was interesting. How she was just changing the narrative as she went and saying, like, counteracting everything that the Dark Josie was stating was like, well, now you've been spelled to be trapped in this cabin. And then she counters, well, we're not in the cabin anymore. And it turns out to be that, like, she was the one actually in control. So I thought that was pretty cool as well, too. How she was able to spin the narrative the way that she did to fit her needs. So that was something there. It was a good representation of the whole idea as well, too. A little on the nose when they kept on saying, change the story, considering we are watching a story unfold for us. But yeah, so there's that. But another favorite I have is, again, with MG and Lizzie. They are just killing it week after week after week. It's just like, honestly, I think they're meant to be the end game couple between them, because they just have, these last few episodes, they've showed they've been there for each other, and it's just like, I see it. But like, what really did it was like MG's speech at the fake funeral, and how he was like, regardless or not that he knows that she's alive, this is like, he spoke from his heart, and there was no question from the other students that, like, he wasn't lying. They knew from him, and the fact that he had, pretty sure everyone at the school knows that he has feelings for Lizzie, or he had, but like, they knew that he was speaking from the heart, and that there wasn't blasphemy that he was saying any of this stuff, or like he was saying something that no one else saw. He was just stating facts, and he was stating how his experiences with Lizzie, the first day of school, their first interaction, and how he was trying to change. He brought on events that everybody was witness to, and he gave context to it. And I appreciated with that speech that he was able to change them. It looked like he changed the minds of a lot of the students, especially with the witches who came later on to welcome Lizzie with open arms after finding her alive again. But the sewing witch, she shared that she loved to sew, but she didn't know anyone else at the school who did. And when Lizzie found out about this, Lizzie created the sewing club. So it's small things like that. And then like he mentioned a bunch of other moments and how he told the students that Lizzie has always tried to change. She's constantly trying to change, but everybody is stuck in the past and always bringing up her bad moments, and it prevents her from actually changing because they're always expecting her to be this bad version of herself when she's trying to work on herself to be better. And I really liked that speech. That was a really well done speech for sure. And then also Lizzie counters it later on when she gives MG her own eulogy speech for him, saying that because he's a vampire, he theoretically would never die, but then he should also be given the opportunity to hear what other people would say about him. And the fact that she wrote a genuine speech for him and not just some cheesy joke or anything like that. It was just like, it was really touching for me for sure to see that. Just to see that, because like they've really come a long way, and I just like they're killing it every week, and I'm all for that. So I'll leave it with the two favorites because like those two were like very big hitters there though. Although a side bonus is I did like the idea of Jed and Kaleb working together, even though it was a little odd, but like just the fact that they got to include the two of them a little bit more on screen and then also to have them working together, I did appreciate that. So there's that. But moving on to top 3 peeved moments. This peeve cannot be helped, and it is the fact that this is serving as the temporary season finale. I mean, with the cliffhanger that they left it off with, the fact that Hope and Landon have not woken up yet, that's one hell of an episode to leave it off on. I mean, like, wow. Well, initially, weren't they signed on for 16 episodes and then they got the additional 4? But yeah, so this is a peeve that we can't really help because of the whole pandemic thing, so I'm still going to place it, but I know it can't be helped. So there's that. Another peeve that I didn't really like was just the whole darkness wolf and the pig. I know that conceptually, good ideas. It's just visually, it's just like, it didn't work for me. I don't know why. Maybe it's because like I noticed a few, I don't know, it's just me picky, but like there were some moments when it was their scenes where I can tell that it was obviously it's a fake costume, but like you could tell it was a fake costume. So it's just like either the makeup it was off at one point, or it's just the prosthetics looked like prosthetics and not actually like what you're trying to achieve. Yeah. That's only a P because I'm a stickler for stuff like that. Like, if you're going to go full on special effects, go on full special effects to the point, like, I can't tell that it's full on special effects, even though logically I know that it is, if that makes sense. But honestly, the Darkness Wolf didn't really do it for me. I was more excited when it was Dark Josie coming in and taking on that role later on. Like, that was more of a selling point for me. So I'll just leave it at that. And another peeve that I just realized, and it's not just from this episode, like I understand why it wasn't in the episode, but I'm just realizing as a whole, after doing my top 3 favorites, that this has been lacking. And I'm pretty sure I said at the very beginning of my videos that a favorite will always be scenes between Alaric and Hope. Understandably, I get why there weren't any in this scene, or in this episode, if I don't count where it's Lizzie pretending to be Hope, and on screen it looks like it's a Hope and Alaric moment. But I'm finding that since everyone got their memories back about Hope, and after he gave her the initial hug welcoming her back, I have not seen a consistent amount of Alaric Hope interaction in the episodes that came afterwards. When previously, I'm pretty sure every video recap I've done, there's always been a Hope Alaric favorite in the video. It's just for a while now, and like 2B, I haven't been getting those, and I just realized that now because I usually have a slot for them specifically in favorites for it. So that's something there. But let's move on to random questions very quickly because I'm at the 11:30 mark right now. That's time, not timer clockwise. So anyways, first question, was Chad freed from the Necromancer's control, or did Alaric only barter for Rafael and Alyssa's freedom during their deal? Which kind of reminded me of like the Wizard's Oath. So that's a question there. Second question is Hope being turned to stone the reason why she's stuck in Josie's mind and why she hasn't woken up yet? And I'm wondering, can Josie feel Hope's presence inside her mind? Like Dark Josie was able to feel Hope or something being off or something intruding inside? Or is something else preventing Hope from waking up? That's a question there. And then the last question was, could Landon still be alive and just like in like a limbo state because he is still technically temporarily tethered to Lizzie's life force? Because as you remember, in order to keep Lizzie alive, Hope's potion allowed for Lizzie's life force to be tied or to be linked to Landon's life force. So once he came back again through the Phoenix resurrection, Lizzie was able to shortly come out back afterwards too. So I'm left with the impression that because even though Landon was stabbed with the golden arrow and Lizzie didn't drop dead immediately after that, because she's tied to him, I'm wondering if he could still be alive because she is still alive and he is clinging on to her life force. And maybe he's just stuck in some limbo, like I've said. I'm wondering if that's the case. But that's my last question there. But otherwise, guys, I'm going to leave it at that because, as I said before, there's no point in going to predictions because with this episode being the last that was completely finished before production was stopped due to COVID-19, there is no promo that was released for 217. They didn't even film it yet. There's no synopsis out there for 217. We don't even know if we're going to get a 217. Or if they're just going to cut it at 216 and maybe add the 4 episodes to season 4, maybe. I don't know. It's very up in the air for any of TV productions. Pretty much any entertainment productions right now are pretty much on hold unless you do it yourself at home type of production. So it's just, yeah, things are up in the air a lot right now though. But so I'll end it right there right now. What did you guys think of this episode? What did you guys like about it? Do you think it serves as a temporary season finale? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, and opinions about all that stuff. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out all my other videos during this pandemic that we have. But yeah, also if you want, check out my Tumblr page. Link for that is down below. Read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff. All found in one place. Go check that out. I was meant to update it, but this DIY birthday gift that I started last week for my mom is taking a hell of a lot longer than I thought it did. So I need to finish it first before I start updating anything. So just keep that in mind. Because I know I said it in my previous video that I would be updating during this pandemic, but this gift is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Or that could just be the perfectionist in me and wanting my mom's gift to be great, to account for the fact that today is her birthday. And if this pandemic wasn't happening, I would have been at home with them. I'm not with them now. I would have been at home celebrating a birthday dinner with her, spending the evening. We do family movie nights every time I come visit. And we just like binge watch a whole bunch of these movies. together, and that was the plan. But because I am in my own self-imposed isolation with my grandparents in a different city from my parents, it's turning out to be a birthday that is very different what I had planned for my mom. So I just really want this gift that I'm making her to kind of make up for that, essentially. So that's why all my time's been stuck on it. So yeah. That's also why you are getting both my Supernatural video and my Legacies video on the same day, uploading wise, as opposed to the days in between that the two of them air from each other. So that's my reason. I'll just end it there, guys. WordPress, again, link that is down below. Same thing. Anything I post online is connected to WordPress. A little more organized, a little more detailed, but still work in progress once again. And now I'll end it up there. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for just listening to me rant. I will have to say, isolation's a little tougher than I thought it would be, when I'm already so used to just staying in my room whenever I can actually get the chance to on a normal day. So yeah, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Comment down below. Please continue the conversation with me. But otherwise, guys, I don't know when I'll be back to talk about Legacies again. Hopefully it's not going to take that long. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But guys, take care. Please social distance. Please sanitize, wash your hands, do your part in stopping the spread of COVID-19. I know a lot of people want to get back to their normal lives, but the sooner we can stop the spread, the sooner we can stop the cases from spiking, the better all of us could be, and the quicker we can all get back to our normal everyday lives. So just keep that in mind. But guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are, and I'm done with my PSA announcement. Bye.